What's up, guys? Back again with the mission stories today. Some more mission stories from my very first area. Um, let's see here. So, this is my first transfer still in the mission. Right at the end of my first transfer, we were having splits with the zone leaders, and it was pretty cool. So, we had our splits, but the day before we had our splits, they came on a Sunday night to stay in our area to spend P Day with us, and then Tuesday we were going to do divisions with them. And I remember at this time my mission president was in Uruguay for some big mission president conference thing, learning with like one of the general authorities. Anyways, we called him. He didn't answer. Said he was in Uruguay to call his assistants if we needed anything. And so the zone leaders called the assistants. They said, "Hey, we're gonna go stay in Calafate to do divisions with them. Can we go on Monday if we pay for it out of our own pocket? Can we go to Chalten, which is a little tiny town? It's kind of a world-renowned town, just teeny tiny. About 1,200 people live there, but it's known for the mountain range El Chalten, which is this mountain that you see, or this is called El Capitani and Fitzroy. Um, it's a big mountain. On the other side of it, it's called Lisandro de la Torre, and it's this. I think it's this. This picture makes it look like it's right here. No. It's on the other side of this picture. Anyways, back here is some peaks that are really big for climbing, and right at the bottom of this big wall here, there's a basin, and it's just full of water. And the basin with water is called Laguna de los Tres, which is like the Lake of the Three, and it's called that because when it was discovered, there were three dead bodies up there. So whoever actually found it died up there. They probably froze to death in their sleep. Anyways, so my zone leaders called the assistants, and the assistants like, I don't care, do what you want. And so Monday morning comes, like 4 in the morning. We get up, we call a cab driver, and we're like, we're looking to go to Chalten. We'll pay the fee, and I think per person it ended up being like $30 or $40 a person to drive out to El Chalten and then back, which was about 3 hour drive there, 3 hour drive back. And it was pretty crazy. So we get to this mountain range, and I remember like pulling in, and I was just like in awe. It was beautiful. Oh, where'd it go? Um. Anyways, we went and hiked it with the zone leaders, and I have more pictures later on. I think. Hopefully we'll get to them soon. But it was the most mind-boggling hike I've ever been on in my entire life. It was super long. I think it's 12 miles up, 12 miles round trip. I think something like that. Or 16 miles round trip. It was a really long hike, and it was pretty crazy at times. Like there were times where it was straight up, we're like climbing up rocks. And then I remember right at the very end, you literally had to cross like a frozen stream that had a sheer cliff drop off. It's bizarre, but it was pretty cool. This is the glacier again, just another picture of the glacier. My mom would post these on my Instagram for me, and she'd write my weekly letters, or throw my weekly letters in there. Also, you can see it here again. It's pretty cool. If you guys want to follow this, it's Adventures of Jacob Passy. It was the Adventures of Elder Passy, but we were asked not to put Elder in there because the church asked us not to, because people would target our accounts, try to hack our accounts. But if you guys would like to follow, it's Adventures of Jacob Passy. I don't post on here a whole lot. I probably will start again, maybe, but go follow. So my second transfer in the mission, we got transfer calls, and I remember being very sick. This picture was taken at the very beginning of my second transfer in Calafate. That's the reason I'm talking about it here. I remember transfer calls. We got the calls, and I remember my first transfers were a little weird because generally you'd get the transfer calls 5, 6, 7 at night or in the evening. The call never came. And I remember I was sitting at a ice cream place with my trainer, and the call never came. And we're like, okay, I guess the call's never going to come. And so the call never came. My first transfer in Calafate, sorry. First transfer in Calafate, we had Elder Whiting and I, and then there were two other elders in the area, Elder Luna and Elder Lloyd. And they decided to take the elders out and try to put sisters in that area with us. And this is a very secluded area. This is an area 6 hours from all their missionaries in the mission. The next closest area is Rio Gallegos, and that was the big city. That was our zone city, and it was about 6 hours from us. And so the transfer calls never came. And I remember we went to bed, 10:30, lights out, went to bed, and close to 1 in the morning, we get a phone call, and we're like, "Who's calling us?" And I remember I was out asleep, and my companion like answered the phone, "Hello," and it was the assistants from from the mission home, and they're like, "Is this Elder Passy and Elder Whiting?" We're like, "Yes." They're like, "You guys are staying together, and Elder Lloyd, Elder Luna are being whitewashed, and Sister Coombs and Sister Belasio are coming to pink wash." Pink wash is when they take out both elders and they put 2 sisters in. They're coming to pink wash Calafate B. And I remember it was like, okay, cool. And Elder Whiting's like, "Oh, Sister Coombs is amazing, amazing sister missionary, awesome. It's going to be a fun transfer." And I was like, cool, went to sleep. And so this was right after we got to this area. We had this family called Family Quintanilla, and they'd pick us up from church. They'd come to church with us on Sundays sometimes. They'd pick us up from church, and they'd always feed us. They loved to feed the missionaries. They didn't necessarily want to get baptized or have a whole lot to do with the church, but they would love to feed us. And then they'd always let us teach lessons. They were so kind. And I believe they're from Jujuy, Argentina, or some northern part of Argentina. They were just an amazing family. So this is the daughter, and this is the 2 sister missionaries. We crammed into this little tiny car. My companion was in the front. But we all crammed into this little teeny tiny car to get to their house because they lived like 20 miles into the backwoods of Caleta Livia. And so, yep, that was us cramming into this car, and I had to take a picture. It literally you can tell here, I had my hands out the window as we were driving, taking the picture. It was kind of funny. So this is Sister Belasio, she's from Paraguay, and then Sister Coombs, she's from Utah, Minersville, Utah. Shouting out Sister Coombs a lot in this. I'll be sending this to you, Coombs, so watch it. So that was fun. We went and ate with the Quintanillas that day. And this is another day. This is the Hermana Pardo's house. She was from Chile. She was the Relief Society president of our little tiny branch in Calafate. And we went and made, I believe, gnocchis with her at her house. So this is us learning how to make gnocchis with her. And that was really, really cool. Great. I love gnocchis. Gnocchis are like a potato pasta. So it's mixed with potatoes mixed with like homemade pasta. Really, really, really good. Go to Olive Garden to get their gnocchis. Their gnocchis are actually really good at Olive Garden. Something really crazy about this is at the Quintanillas' house again, eating dinner another separate time. Anyways, something crazy about Calafate is it was a very, very small town. We had about, I'm trying to think, maybe 20 active members of the church. When I was serving there, the last few transfers I were there were the last few transfers missionaries were in that area at all, because the branch president was inactive, his first counselor was inactive, the second counselor was inactive, the secretary was inactive, the elders quorum president was inactive, his first and second counselor were inactive, but his secretary was an active member. No. His second counselor was active. And so the second counselor of the elders quorum presidency was named Jose Lotito, and he ran that ward, man. Amazing convert. It was a convert of about a year and a half when I got there, and the guy literally ran the church there. It was insane. We met in an old pizza parlor, and like they still had the window where they would serve the pizzas through, and then they had like the sitting room or the dining room area, and then they had a couple back rooms where we'd do like the other classes and everything. But I just remember, like, it's so cool. Our baptismal font in that area was like a blue fill-up pool. Like, it was just like a very crazy area, and I feel very blessed that I got to serve there because it was just so much fun. We just had crazy experiences in this area. It was just bizarre. So as you can see, this is a kind of more Bolivian meal, I would say. As you can see here, very Argentine right here is the bread. You ate bread with every single meal no matter what in Argentina, and generally Coca-Cola, as you can see here. This salad was called, it's like a potato salad kind of thing with peas and carrots and mayonnaise. It's like a potato salad here. They called it ensalada de ruso, like Russian salad. And then they would serve us like just a plain chicken wing, a battered chicken wing, kind of like KFC. and then they would generally do rice with tuna. And so that's not very Argentine, but that was kind of more of a more Bolivian style meal, I believe. I can't speak for sure because I didn't serve in Bolivia, but that's kind of what I know to be true. So this is a picture of me. I can't remember who took this, but there's my trainer, and we were just all sitting there talking. So this is a really, really cool family. This is family Quintanilla, as I said. This is their cousin's house. So we'd go eat with their cousins too and teach their cousins. They're just awesome people. This is a beautiful, beautiful sunset. This Calafate was just the most beautiful city. This, no filter on this. This was a legitimate picture taken in the middle of the street in my first area, just down the street from our house. It was just red. It was so cool. Calafate also had like flamingos all over the place, just super random. It was cold, but flamingos lived there. It's just a picture of me. This is the church building I was talking about. This is an old pizzeria. We put up the church put up these walls and like these light racks and everything, and then this is the chimney for the oven, the pizza oven, and then on the other side of this, where this bar is back here, that's where they would just serve the pizzas through. There was a slit about this wide, like this tall. They just put a pizza through. It had a little piece that stuck out. I ran into that stupid thing like a dozen times while I was there. Jacked myself up. This was just all of us going to get ice cream on a P-Day, I believe. P-Days in Calafate, honestly, were pretty boring. Not a whole lot happened. We'd generally write our families, and we had a church computer because they didn't really have a cyber cafe where you'd go write an email. So we'd have to wait. Everybody would get an hour and a half on the computer. And so we would literally sit in the church building for about 6 hours on Monday, and the sisters would write, and then the elders would write, and then generally while the sisters were writing, me and my companion would go get our groceries, and that was just that. The P-Day wasn't really super fun unless we planned a really fun activity, which I wish I would have served in Calafate later on because I would have planned a lot of fun activities, like going to the glacier. I got to go to the glacier with these four anyways, but not a whole lot happened in Calafate genuinely because we wanted to write our families. And so... Oh, this ice cream right here is called Greedo's ice cream, and I can't explain it. It's very good, but it's like a watery ice cream, if that makes sense. It's not like super creamy like the US. It's more like water based. Anyway, super good. I love Greedo's. I would love to go back and get some Greedo's ice cream. I miss Argentina so much. This was our zone conference for my second transfer, and we had... preparing for the spiritual war kind of thing. We just decided that we were preparing in zone conferences, you'd kind of just like train for how to better teach the gospel and like what principles we needed to learn and everything. And so my mission president came up with this really good training course that we were warriors for the gospel, and we did a couple of fun activities and everything. And anyways, it was kind of funny. They all dressed up and put face paint on and things, as you can see here. This was one of the obstacles, was crawling underneath church tables. It was hilarious. So there's a picture of me. I think I've got some scriptures written on the side of my face. I'm not sure. Okay, so this is that hike I was talking about, the El Chalten. This was just like, this is so cool. It was just this dead tree, and I went and climbed up, took a picture up there. We all took turns taking pictures there. Big waterfall in the background, just beautiful, beautiful area. We said this was our album cover. Elder Febo, Elder Oviat. Elder Oviat's he's in a couple of the church movies. He's in, I think, The Fighting Preacher. A couple other things, and my trainer and me. It's cold. This looks like it's painted or just like not a real picture, but that was a legit picture I just took on my camera. I snapped it at the first like bend in the hike, and it was just a beautiful area. I almost lost my beanie. You know, beanies are kind of stuck tight to your head. It was so windy, my beanie flew off. It says a lot about how windy this area was, but just so beautiful. This is the very summit of the mountain that we hiked. Just took some pictures with the American flag. I can't remember if we brought an Argentine flag, but we had an American flag. Don't get mad at me. I'm holding it backwards. Oops. But we got up there, and it was a literal blizzard. And this was summertime at this point. I had been in the area for about 12 weeks, and so it was getting later in the like late spring, early summer stages of this area, and we climbed up this mountain. And my companion's like, "Oh yeah, I went on this hike in the fall." He's like, "We didn't need jackets or anything. You guys probably won't need any jackets. Just bring a sweatshirt." And so we all brought like these small sweatshirts, and it was so cold. You could see these little thin pants, and we were all just like soaking wet by the time we got home that night. It's just cold and wet, and our shoes were cold and wet, and yeah, it was a very fun experience, but it was just utterly miserably cold. I wish I would have brought a big waterproof jacket. Another picture of me, more pictures. There's all of us together. The little Brazilian kid took this. Oh wait, was he Brazilian? I think he was Brazilian. Maybe he was from Portugal. I can't remember. He spoke Portuguese though. Just was traveling and took pictures of us for us, and spoke really good English. The kid spoke like 5 languages. He spoke like French, German, Portuguese, Spanish, and English. It was crazy. Super nice kid. This is that family I was telling you again. Julieta is taking a picture with me. Just always come over, give us a hug, and I was squatting down next to a bed right here. She was standing on the bed. This poor family. I love this family to death. I remember they'd feed us all the time, and I always felt so horrible when they'd feed us because they lived in this one bedroom, little tiny, maybe 250 square foot house with the one light that you can see on right there. Everything was in this room. The bedroom, or the bed, the kitchen, the fridge, the TV. There was one, like, there was a small bathroom right in the corner that like had like a super wobbly door on it, and like had like a makeshift shower. And I just always felt so bad. Hermana Vivian is amazing, and I love Vivian to death because she always took care of the elders. She was so caring. She had 5 daughters, and they were just adorable. This is her youngest, not youngest anymore. She just had another baby, so she actually lives in Germany now. Here's all of us. We did these are the 3 of us or 4 of us missionaries. On a, what we did is called a tsunami. We'd go out, we'd walk around, and we would uh, pass out Book of Mormons and everything. We just talked to every single person that we saw. So all 4 of us went out and we did what we called a tsunami, and we just contacted as many people as we could and just tried to teach the gospel to everybody we knew. There's the glacier again. I guess when when my mom didn't have pictures, she just take pictures of the glacier. This was my companion. We got transfers, and he was leaving. Right at the end of the transfers, I remember we were sitting in Gritos where I had that picture of the ice cream, and we're sitting there, and we got a phone call, and we answered. It was super early on in the day, and they're like, "All right, transfers are happening. Elder Passy, you're staying. Sister Blasio, Sister Coombs, you're staying. Sister Coombs' last transfer. Elder Whiting, you're getting transferred, and you're being replaced by Elder Peterson." And Elder Peterson was another gringo missionary, another guy from the U.S. He's from Sandy, Utah, and I was so relieved. Literally, I was like sick for days prior to this because I was just like so worried about transfers. Elder Stoffer in the background, and then Elder Bernhardt, my companion. I saw him there briefly. This is family Quintanisha again with them. This is Elder Whiting's last meal with them. So it was a sad day that day. This was just a cool sign right up on the hill of our apartment. You could tell how green and beautiful Calafate would get in the spring and the summertime. And then, this is Vivian. This is Vivian right here. The lady that always takes care of us. This is the family I was just talking about with their whole house in one room. This is Vivian, and then all 4 of us, the zone leaders, and then my trainer and me, all of us sitting here in this house. This is Natalia. She was just a family friend of Vivian's. This is us going to eat a giant thing of guiso, which is like a rice stew kind of thing. She wanted to feed us. In fact, she fed 2 extra mouths and four elders, and that was just so kind of them. There's all the daughters. There's Julieta, Luna, Adasa, Angie. I'm forgetting one. No. Luna, Adasa, Angie, Why can I not think of it? Oh my goodness, it breaks my heart. Julieta, the little girl that takes all the pictures with me. Anyways, love that family. Here we are at the glacier. Finally made it to the glacier. So I think I will leave that story for another episode. Hopefully you guys are watching these and enjoying. If not, they're just posted to YouTube for my memories. So, alright guys, see you next time.